Okay, let's tackle a sentence insertion question today. This question is also called a coherence question. The idea is you take one sentence and replace it in the best place in the reading passage. The sentence they want us to insert is this sentence right here. What they're asking you to do is place this sentence in one of these black squares in the passage that you've been given. Let's take a look at the sentence. The 5-year voyage proved to be a major turning point in his life. So again, we're placing this in the passage. What do we need to think about before we dive right in? Well, first let's talk about what the TOEFL test is testing you on. The idea is they want to make sure that you understand logical order of information in a reading passage. Think about readings that you've done. Typically, they follow some sort of order and things won't be put in randomly. That's what they're looking for you to do here. Every reading passage on the test will have this type of question. When you get to it for the first time, you want to kind of play around with the system. You're allowed to change it around as much as you want. So take a second the first time you reach this question on the test and click around and make sure that you understand where they're placing your sentences. You also want to make sure that you always look at the previous and the following sentences when you end up placing yours in the right section. Okay, so let's take a look at this specific passage. We're talking here about Darwin and evolutionism. Our first sentence, Darwin was born February 12, 1809 in England. Okay, so again, this is the sentence we're looking to put in. They're talking about a voyage here. This is where your knowledge of vocabulary comes in, because if you're not quite sure what a voyage is, then you might have a little bit of confusion. But even if you didn't understand what a voyage was, you still can be pretty sure that we don't want to put this right here. It doesn't make sense to talk about a major turning point in his life before he was born, right? Okay, second sentence. Although initially entering into medicine, Darwin chose to pursue his interest in national science and embarked on a 5-year journey aboard the HMS Beagle, a British sloop belonging to the Royal Navy. Okay, so here in this sentence, we are talking about a 5-year journey. Here's the clue for those of you who weren't sure what a voyage was. They've given you a hint here because we have 5-year journey, 5-year voyage. So if you match these two, it's okay that maybe you didn't know that voyage was a synonym for journey. Now we're introducing the journey here. So do we want to put the effects of the journey in the sentence before it? No, probably not. Now at this point, we can feel pretty confident that this sentence is going to go here, following the information about the journey. But let's read the last sentence just to make sure. Because of his experience aboard the Beagle, he laid the foundation for his theory of evolution while also establishing himself within the scientific community. Okay, so this is kind of our wrap-up sentence of the paragraph. So we wouldn't want to put this information here. Now we can feel pretty serious, pretty sure that this sentence goes right here. So we're talking about Darwin was born, where he got his start, and then when he chose to pursue natural science and took a trip with the Navy, this trip proved to be a major turning point in his life. And because of this, he was able to found the theory of evolution. So it's all logical and in order, just as it should be. Every new sentence they give you will have some sort of clue to give you an idea of where it needs to go. The clue for this one is 5-year voyage and 5-year journey. That's the strategy I'd like you to use when you are taking the test. Look for these clues because they're going to tell you whether you're right or wrong, and they do make it a little bit easier. But do remember that there's always an element of trickiness on the exam, right? The TOEFL never makes it too easy on you. So make sure that even if you do see a clue and you think, okay, I see this, so I'm just going to put this sentence right near it. Well, you always want to try all the options to make sure that you're right and you're not being tricked. Don't just skim the options and drop it in right away. Even if the first choice sounds great, make sure you read everything. And finally, the last thing you want to do is make sure that the meaning of the passage did not change. So if you put the sentence somewhere and you think that it sounds right, but it changes the meaning of the whole passage, well, then you know something's wrong. So you don't want to do that. Well, we've just answered your sentence insertion question today. Great job.